mechanism of breathing or external respiration in human beings. Inhalation. Contractions of rib cage muscles and diaphragm together lead to increase in the volume of thoracic cavity and also the lungs, resulting in low pressure inside the lungs. Due to the pressure difference, air from outside rushes into the lungs through the nostrils. Exhalation. When the rib cage muscles and diaphragm relax, the volume of the thoracic cavity and thus that of lungs decreases. This increases the pressure inside the lungs. Air inside the lungs, now rich in carbon dioxide, is exhaled out, moving from the high pressure zone inside the lungs to low pressure zone outside. Inhaled air inside the alveoli is rich in oxygen, and blood present in the surrounding capillary network is rich in carbon dioxide. Diffusion of oxygen from alveoli to blood occurs, with oxygen combining with hemoglobin and getting transported all over the body in the form of oxyhemoglobin. Simultaneously, diffusion of carbon dioxide from blood to alveoli takes place, and carbon dioxide is exhaled out. Cellular respiration or internal respiration. Oxyhemoglobin in the blood carry oxygen to the cells, where they dissociate, liberating oxygen to the cells. This oxygen is used to oxidize or burn simple nutrients like glucose, thereby releasing energy which is stored in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. This biochemical process is termed as cellular or internal respiration. Cellular respiration occurs in two steps. Anaerobic step. This takes place in cytoplasm in absence of oxygen and is termed as glycolysis. It involves breakdown of 6-carbon molecule glucose into a 3-carbon molecule called pyruvate. Aerobic step. This step occurs in mitochondria in presence of oxygen, decomposing pyruvate into water and carbon dioxide, which is exhaled out with the release of more energy. Energy released during aerobic respiration is more than the energy released during anaerobic respiration. Few intestinal parasites like liver fluke, tapeworm, and roundworm respire anaerobically because they live in environments which have less amount of oxygen. Certain cells, such as mammalian RBCs, carry out anaerobic respiration only, as mitochondria are absent in them. Breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Respiration in plants. Even plants respire by taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, but the rate is slower because of less activities as compared to that of animals. There is no specific organ for respiration and transport in plants. Exchange of gases takes place through stomata by the process of diffusion in all parts of the plant like root, stem and leaf. During the daytime, the two processes, photosynthesis and respiration, take place simultaneously. Hence, carbon dioxide released during respiration is utilized for photosynthesis and more oxygen is released. At night, only respiration takes place, resulting in plants releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Transportation. The substances that are synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are carried to the other parts of the body by a process called transportation. For example, oxygen from lungs to cells. Transportation in human beings. The transportation of materials in animals, including human beings, is known as circulation. Blood is the fluid connective tissue. It plays an important role in the transport of materials in the body. The human heart. In human beings, the heart is a muscular organ which pumps blood in the body. The human heart is of the size of a human fist and weighs 360 grams approximately. The heart is covered by pericardial membrane. The human heart has the left and right chambers to prevent oxygen-rich blood from mixing with the blood rich in carbon dioxide. The left half of the human heart carries oxygenated blood, while the right half of the human heart carries the deoxygenated blood. Such a separation allows highly efficient supply of oxygen to the body. This is very essential in animals that have high energy needs, such as birds and mammals, which constantly use energy to maintain their body temperature. Each half of the human heart is further divided into two chambers. The upper chamber is called the atrium, while the lower chamber is called the ventricle. Thus, the human heart has 4 chambers. There are 3 types of blood vessels in the human body, that is, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries. Arteries carry the blood from the heart to various parts of the body. The blood pumped out of the heart is under very high pressure. The arteries have to withstand this pressure. Hence, they are thick-walled and elastic in nature. Arteries do not possess valves. Mostly, they carry oxygenated blood from the heart, except pulmonary artery, which carries the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs, where the blood is oxygenated and sent back to the heart. Veins. These are thin-walled as the blood in the veins is not under high pressure. They possess valves inside to prevent the backflow of blood. Capillaries. These are very thin-walled and form a fine network between the cells, assisting the exchange of gases and nutrients between blood and the surroundings. Lymph. Lymph is a light yellow tissue fluid similar to plasma, except that it has lesser amount of proteins in it. Lymph flow is unidirectional, that is, from tissues to the heart. Blood platelets repair the damaged vessels by clotting the blood at the point of injury. Circulation of blood within the heart. Atrial muscles relax, increasing the internal volume. The deoxygenated blood collected from different organs of the body is poured into the right atrium via two large veins called vena cava. At the same time, the left atrium receives oxygen-rich blood from the lungs simultaneously through 4 pulmonary veins. Both the atria contract and push blood into respective ventricles, which expand to receive the blood. Left ventricle gets filled with oxygenated blood, and the right ventricle gets filled with deoxygenated blood. Muscles of left ventricle contract and pump the oxygenated blood into the aorta. The aorta divides and subdivides into vessels and capillaries. These vessels carry blood to all parts of the body. Right ventricular muscles contract and pump the deoxygenated blood into lungs through pulmonary artery. Backward flow of the blood is prevented by the valves present between the atrium and ventricle. The deoxygenated blood enters the right part of the heart, and again after oxygenation it enters the left part of the heart, and then it is distributed to all over the body. So, the blood moves through the heart twice during one cycle. Hence, the blood circulation in human beings is termed as double circulation. Blood pressure. The pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of a blood vessel is called blood pressure. The measurement of blood pressure involves two terms. Systolic blood pressure, that is, the pressure in the artery during ventricular contraction, while diastolic blood pressure is the pressure in the artery during ventricular relaxation. Ventricular contraction pressure is passed on to the arteries, and that is why arteries have thick walls and are deeply placed in the body. Blood pressure becomes low in capillaries and gets even lowered in the veins. Hence, the veins possess valves to prevent backflow of blood. The normal systolic pressure is 120 mm of mercury, and normal diastolic pressure is 80 mm of mercury. Sphygmomanometer is an instrument used for measuring the blood pressure. High blood pressure is also known as hypertension. Transportation in plants. As plants are stationary and perform less number of metabolic activities, their energy requirement is less, and hence the transportation system is less developed as compared to human beings. Conducting tissues like xylem and phloem carry out transportation in plants. Water and minerals absorbed by root hairs are transported through xylem bundles, whereas food manufactured by leaves is translocated all over the plant with the help of phloem bundles. All the parts of the plant are interconnected with these conducting tissues. Water from the soil enters the root hairs, epidermis, cortex, endodermis, and then into the xylem bundles through the process of osmosis. Minerals are absorbed from the soil by the cells of the root hair, mostly through active transport, that is, absorption of minerals against concentration gradient with expense of energy. This continuous movement of water from the soil to the xylem tissue creates root pressure, which can push water upward. However, this pressure is not enough to push the water up in tall trees, but it is enough to push up the water and minerals in small plants like herbs, bushes, and even small trees. Loss of water from aerial parts of the plant in the form of vapor is called transpiration. Transpiration from the surface of the leaves results in a decrease in the water content of the leaf cells. The water which is lost from the leaf cells is replaced by the water from the xylem vessels of the leaf. Xylem vessels of the leaf in turn take water from the xylem of the stem and xylem of the root. Thus, transpiration creates a sort of pull or suction called transpiration pull. Root pressure along with transpiration pull results in the movement of water and minerals from the soil to the topmost parts of even a tall tree upwards, despite of gravitational pull. Transport of food and other substances. The food which is manufactured by the leaf cells is transported to each and every cell of the plant for nutrition and to the roots, fruits, and seeds for storage. This process is called translocation. It takes place through phloem in upward as well as downward direction. Food, that is glucose synthesized by cells in the green leaves, is converted into sucrose and actively transported into the companion cells of nearest phloem tissue with the expense of energy from ATP. This causes decrease in the concentration of water molecules in that area. As a result, water enters into the phloem tissue through osmosis, resulting into increased turgor pressure in the phloem cells. food starts moving from the region of high pressure to region of low pressure. On reaching the storage tissues like root, fruit, etc., sucrose is again actively transported into the cells and converted into starch. As starch is insoluble in water, the osmotic pressure of the storage cells does not increase. In the flowering season, starch, which is an insoluble form stored in the roots or stem, is reconverted into sucrose, which is soluble form, and is translocated to the buds, assisting in their growth. Excretion. The process by which unwanted harmful substances are eliminated from the body is called excretion. In human beings, the excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. Kidneys remove the waste products from the blood in the form of urine. Kidneys are a pair of bean-shaped structures lying at the back of the abdomen, one on either side of the vertebral column. Kidneys filter about 190 liters of filtrate a day and produce 1 to 1.9 liters of urine a day. The basic structural and functional unit of a kidney is a nephron. Each nephron towards its upper end consists of cup-shaped structure called Bowman's capsule, containing a bundle of blood capillaries called glomerulus. Thin inner lining of Bowman's capsule and thin walls of blood capillaries of the glomerulus allow a large portion of the blood, except big molecules like proteins, RBCs, etc., to get filtered into the Bowman's capsule. This is called glomerular filtrate. The blood, now free from these waste materials, is taken to the heart through the renal vein. From Bowman's capsule, the glomerular filtrate passes further through the nephron tubule, where reabsorption of water and other useful substances take place. The resultant concentrated filtrate containing the waste matter forms the urine. The urine, thus formed, eventually enters the ureters and ultimately reaches the urinary bladder. Urine is stored for some time in the urinary bladder and periodically thrown out of the body through the urethra. Besides kidneys, the lungs and the skin also help in the process of excretion. Lungs excrete carbon dioxide and skin excretes urea in the form of sweat. When kidney fails, an artificial device is used for removing nitrogenous waste matters from the blood. This device is known as dialyzing machine, and the process is known as hemodialysis. Excretion in plants. Plants do not possess any excretory system for the removal of waste matter. In plants, The excretory wastes are stored in the vacuoles of the cells of leaves, flowers, and fruits, besides bark of the trees. They are thrown out through periodic shedding of leaves, flowers, fruits, bark, etc. Gaseous excretory materials are eliminated by diffusion. Some waste substances are also excreted into the soil around the plants. Some plant wastes such as rubber, latex, gum, resins, and essential oils like eucalyptus oil and sandalwood oil are beneficial to human beings. Some plants store waste in the form of needle-shaped calcium oxalate crystals called raphides. These crystals hurt and cause itching. Example, in alocasia leaves. Concept map. All living beings, that is, animals or human beings and plants, need life processes to sustain. The life processes include nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. In plants, nutrition is of two types: heterotrophic and autotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition takes place by photosynthesis in the presence of carbon dioxide and water and results in the formation of oxygen and carbohydrates. These products are used during respiration. In humans, the mode of nutrition is only heterotrophic. It takes place through the alimentary canal. The associated glands are liver and pancreas. In plants, respiration takes place through stomata present in the leaves. This results in formation of carbon dioxide, water, and energy, which are used during photosynthesis. In humans, respiration is of two types. Anaerobic respiration results in formation of alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. Aerobic respiration takes place through the alveoli present in the lungs. It results in the formation of carbon dioxide, water, and energy. In plants, transportation takes place by root pressure and transportation pull through xylem and phloem. In humans, transportation takes place through lymph and blood. The process of transportation in humans is called circulation. Blood is pumped by the heart to all parts of the body. In plants, excretion takes place through shedding of leaves, flowers, fruits, and bark, storage of wastes in the blood cells, diffusion in air and soil around the roots. In humans, excretion takes through kidneys. Kidneys have nephrons that filter blood. This blood flows through the renal vein to the heart.